Welcome to an epic journey through the corridors of time, where history intertwines with faith and courage in a setting as old as civilization itself. This is a story that transcends centuries, finding its roots in the Old Testament, in the book of Daniel. Prepare to witness a remarkable encounter between a tyrant king Nebuchadnezzar and the divine presence of Jesus Christ, an experience that not only defies the laws of nature by presenting Jesus Christ long before his birth, but also transforms the hearts of the protagonists. Enter with us the universe of the book of Daniel, where the fearless disobedience of three young Hebrews, Sadrac, Meshac and Abednego, places them at the epicenter of a conflict between unshakable faith and the imposition of temporal power. This account, in addition to being an eyewitness account of an extraordinary miracle, also highlights an unexpected encounter between Nebuchadnezzar and a divine presence that redefines not only the narrative, but also the heart of the tyrant king. This video is yet another biblical story, where the Old Testament unfolds before us as a treasure trove of timeless lessons. This is the story of Sadrac, Meshac, Abednego, and an extraordinary encounter between Nebuchadnezzar and Jesus. In Babylon in the 6th century BC, under the reign of Nebuchadnezzar II, the political and cultural scenario unfolds in a plot of oppression and imposition. The king, known for his ruthless tyranny and boundless ambition, seeks to consolidate his rule over an expanding empire. Babylon, in this period, is an epicenter of power and wealth, with Nebuchadnezzar at the height of his authoritarian reign. The construction of the golden statue emerges as a symbol of both the king's egocentrism and his desire to control not only the political but also the religious aspects of his vast empire. The order for all rulers to worship the statue is enacted as a cunning strategy to consolidate not only political power but also religious loyalty to Nebuchadnezzar. The monumentality of the statue, 90 feet tall, transcends mere ostentation. She is a physical manifestation of the king's desire to place himself in the divine pantheon, demanding worship and submission. The burning furnace, erected as an imminent threat to those who dare to defy the monarch's order, symbolizes not only an instrument of punishment, but a theater for the demonstration of power and absolute submission to the government. At the epicenter of this context, the figure of three young Hebrews appears, Sadrac, Meshac, and Abednego. Their origins as captives from the kingdom of Judah, brought to Babylon after the conquest, make their resistance all the more remarkable. Faced with an order that directly challenges their religious principles, these young men face a monumental dilemma: compromise their faith in their God or face the brutal consequences of the fiery furnace. The confrontation between Nebuchadnezzar's secular authority and the unbreakable faith of the young Hebrews sets the stage for an epic narrative of resistance, faith, and, ultimately, a confrontation between earthly and divine power. Babylon, with its grandeur and opulence, becomes the battlefield where the religious convictions of the Hebrews challenge the imposition of royal power, triggering a series of events that echo through the centuries as a testimony of courage in the face of oppression. The narrative's pivotal moment emerges when Nebuchadnezzar's draconian order echoes through the halls of Babylon, demanding the unquestioning worship of the golden statue he has erected. Faced with this imposition, Sadrac, Meshac, and Abednego emerge as prominent figures who refuse to bow to the enormous pressure of royal power. The act of disobedience of these young Hebrews is not just individual resistance, it is a courageous demonstration that challenges prevailing social norms. In Babylonian society, where obedience to the monarch was considered not only a matter of political loyalty but also a religious act, the refusal of these three young men to worship the statue becomes an act of radical defiance of established conventions. Deep loyalty to the God of Israel is the driving force behind this disobedience. Sadrac, Meshac, and Abednego demonstrate an uncompromising loyalty that transcends the threats and punishments that hang over them. The decision not to compromise their faith in favor of convenience or social acceptance reveals the depth of their religious devotion and refusal to submit worship to any entity other than the God they worship. The contrast between these young people and the majority who bow before the golden idol highlights not only individual courage, but also outlines an ideological confrontation between faith and the imposition of temporal power. As the society around them buckles under the pressure, these three Hebrews stand as beacons of resistance, challenging the dominant narrative and proclaiming the uniqueness of their faith. The challenge to Nebuchadnezzar's authority transcends the political sphere. It is a bold declaration that true loyalty belongs to something higher and sacred. This act of disobedience not only resonates as an epic testament to courage, but also sets in motion a sequence of events that illustrate how faith can overcome temporal power, echoing through the centuries as a timeless example of resistance in the face of oppression. The courageous resistance of Sadrac, Meshac and Abednego to the royal order provokes Nebuchadnezzar's fury, culminating in the sentence of being thrown into a fiery furnace. The furnace, conceived as an instrument of severe punishment, becomes the stage where the conflict between human authority and divine intervention reaches its climax. The imminence of the fiery furnace not only symbolizes physical punishment, but also the attempt to silence a dissenting voice that challenges monarchical power. By ordering the furnace to be heated 7 times hotter than normal, Nebuchadnezzar seeks to ensure the imminent annihilation of the rebels. The scorching heat represents not just a temporal judgment, but an attempt to suppress the faith and resistance that challenge the established order. However, the surprising outcome that unfolds in the depths of the furnace transcends human expectations. Sadrac, Meshac and Abednego, even after being thrown into the flames, emerge from the fire unharmed. This extraordinary miracle defies not only natural laws, but proclaims direct divine intervention in response to the unwavering faith of these young people. The contrast between the draconian sentence and the miraculous result reveals not only the fragility of earthly power, but also the sovereignty of a God who transcends human limitations. The miracle in the fiery furnace is not just a spectacle of divine power, it is an affirmation that faith and loyalty to the divine can triumph over the most imminent threats. The furnace, which should be a symbol of condemnation, becomes the setting for an extraordinary testimony of unshakable trust in divine providence. This episode not only consolidates the narrative as a powerful demonstration of miracle, but also challenges human logic by highlighting that divine intervention often transcends human expectations and understanding. The miracle in the fiery furnace resonates as a timeless message that even in the most adverse situations, resilient faith can trigger extraordinary events that will echo through the ages. The story of the 3 young Hebrews transcends mere historical narrative. It reveals itself as a powerful lesson in faith and resistance, highlighting unwavering courage in the face of adversity. The stance of these young people in the face of imminent threat is not just an isolated episode, but a perennial source of inspiration that resonates through the ages. The fundamental lesson of this narrative is absolute trust in God. Sadrac, Meshac and Abednego personify a faith that is not shaken by adverse circumstances or earthly threats. Their refusal to compromise their beliefs in exchange for personal security evidences a deep conviction in divine faithfulness, even when faced with unimaginable dangers. The perseverance of these young people in the face of uncertainty and imminent danger serves as a beacon of courage amid the darkness of oppression. By resisting social pressure and standing firm in their religious convictions, they become a timeless example of how resilient faith can challenge and transcend cultural and social norms. The narrative not only recounts a historical event, but becomes a call for future generations to resist conformity and remain true to their beliefs. The courage of Sadrac, Meshac, and Abednego inspires those facing similar challenges in different eras, urging them to resist social pressure and stick to their convictions, regardless of the consequences. The story of these young men becomes a moral compass, pointing in the direction of integrity and fidelity, even when faced with the most oppressive forces. The message of resilience and unwavering faith resonates like an echo that spans the ages, reminding us that in the midst of adversity, firm convictions can be a light that guides others through the darkness. Thus, Sadrac, Meshac and Abednego are not just historical characters, they become archetypes of courage, inspiring a continuous search for values and principles, regardless of the challenges that present themselves. The impressive outcome of the story of the 3 young Hebrews culminates in the unexpected recognition on the part of Nebuchadnezzar, marking a crucial point of transformation. Upon witnessing the natural law-defying miracle in the fiery furnace, the king is confronted with the supremacy of the God of the Hebrews, a revelation that profoundly alters his perspective. The fiery furnace, initially designed as an instrument of judgment, becomes the stage for a miracle that leaves the merciless monarch in awe of what he is looking at. The unscathed emergence of Sadrac, Meshac, and Abednego from the scorching heat not only defies the monarch's expectations, but also reveals itself as a direct manifestation of divine intervention. This encounter with the transcendent leaves no room for doubt about the presence and power of the God of the Hebrews. The impact of this transformative experience is evident in Nebuchadnezzar's radical change of attitude. The same king who issued a draconian order now finds himself surrendering to the God of the young Hebrews. This gesture of recognition is not just a superficial concession, it is a visceral response to the divine reality manifest before your eyes. Nebuchadnezzar, whose heart once hardened by earthly power, is now touched by the grandeur of the divine. This episode not only validates the three young people's unbreakable faith, but resonates as a vivid example of how encountering the divine can transform even the most hardened hearts. The narrative illustrates that true transformation lies not just in changing external circumstances, but in the inner upheaval that occurs when God's sovereignty is recognized. Nebuchadnezzar, by recognizing the God of the Hebrews as the one and only true God, not only validates the authenticity of the faith of those who challenged his authority, but becomes a symbol that the sincere search for the divine can result in profound transformation. This turn of events is a powerful reminder that no matter how powerful we may be in earthly terms, encountering the sacred can transcend our assumptions and pave the way for a shift in perspective that shapes not only our view of God, but also our own character. As we reach the conclusion of this incredible journey through the book of Daniel, we witness not just a historical episode, but a saga of faith, resistance, and transformation. The narrative of Sadrac, Meshac, and Abednego, intertwined with Nebuchadnezzar's impactful encounter with the divine presence, leaves us with profound reflections on the ability of faith to challenge the bonds of earthly power. The heat of the fiery furnace, which was supposed to consume, became the stage for a miracle that echoes through the centuries, defying human logic and demonstrating that, when we confront adversity with unshakable faith, the divine intervenes in extraordinary ways. Before concluding, I invite you to share your reflections on this timeless story in the comments. How do you interpret the impact of the faith of Sadrac, Meshac, and Abednego? Does Nebuchadnezzar's encounter with Jesus resonate with your understanding of spiritual transformation? If this dive into the sacred pages of the Old Testament resonates with your heart, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more enriching content. The journey through the scriptures is endless, and we want to have you with us every step of the way. Click the subscribe button, turn on notifications, and embark with us on new explorations of the faith, history, and wisdom contained in the Word. Thank you for your presence, and see you on our next journey together.